Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are back with more things that need to be done to make this country better. Previous episode, I spoke of nationalizing certain weapons companies to come under the actual umbrella of the government, and I still think that's very much true. I've felt this for a while. We don't need the military industrial complex just running amok, making the money it wants to make. Lemon drops. Yeah. And the biggest thing is, because I don't feel that wars should just be started to make more munitions, to make more weapons. No, wars should always be a last resort. Always be a last fucking resort. Or we get the genocides like we have going on in Gaza. Anyway, I wanted to make sure that was clear. Now, here at home, it should always be about the worker, not the company, not the industry. It should always be about the coal miner, not the coal mine or the mine owners. Because I live in part of coal country here in this section of the country. Coal mines are real big. They're seen as, the employer de jour. Everybody's like, back coal. No, you back coal miners. Not coal, not coal mines, not the mine owners. The miners, the coal miners. None of the rest of it needs backing. It's got big money backing it. It should always be about the coal miners. And unfortunately, there's a brainwashing where people are like, I back coal. No, back the coal miners, not the coal. It should only ever be seen as a process of providing them a way of life. Something they can exist upon. Because believe me, the fucking mine bosses, the coal companies, they don't give a shit. Battle of Blair Mountain, which was a fight between coal mines and miners, was the biggest battle dealing with workers. Let's see if I can pull up the information here. Yeah. Largest labor uprising in the United States in U.S. history, and is the largest armed uprising since the Civil War. Conflict occurred in Logan County, West Virginia. It's one of the very southern counties that border with Kentucky. So yeah. And it was part of what was known as the Coal Wars, which is a series of labor disputes and battles. But yeah. For 5 days in late August and early September 1921, some 10,000 armed miners confronted 3,000 lawmen and strikebreakers who called themselves the Logan Defenders. Trying to rewrite history. Who were backed by coal mine operators during the miners' attempt to unionize. The southwestern West Virginia coal fields, when tensions rose between the workers and mine management. The mine owners, operators, the management, they didn't feel they should have had to pay the workers anymore. And the miners are just like, look, we want to be paid what we owed. Yeah. The battle ended approximately 1 million rounds fired. And the U.S. Army represented by the West Virginia National Guard, led by McDowell County native William Eubanks, which I think McDowell County was right next to Logan County in West Virginia. But the West Virginia National Guard, led by William Eubanks, intervened by presidential order. So yeah, it got so serious, so violent, that the National Guard had to intervene. So yeah, this is why I'm all about back the workers, not the fucking companies, not the fucking mines. It's about the fucking miners. Always. Just like the military. I don't care for our Army, our Navy, our Marines, Air Force. No. But if there's one thing I respect, it is the individual soldiers and veterans, and I think they should be taken care of fully and properly. There's a difference between blind loyalty and respecting those who put themselves further on the line. You can be a blind, loyal, patriotic nationalist. Many people are, "Where Army, man?" I'd rather just say, thank you for your service. I want to make sure they're taken care of. They have the homes they deserve, the health care they deserve. And honestly, like I said at the beginning of the video, war should always be the last resort, not what we do at first. It shouldn't be just throwing men to the fucking wolves. Get up there and fight, boy. As many of your politicians would have you believe, is there defending the country. Mm-mm. War should always be a last resort. It shouldn't just be a willy-nilly thing that we send them out there with a chance of dying for little to no reason. I'd rather see us perform diplomacy through helping. But there's so many war hawks in all the three legs of the government stool. And if you don't understand what I mean by three legs of the government stool, I've explained it before, but the idea is the U.S. government is like a stool with three legs. The legislative branch, which is Congress, divided into its two houses, House of Representatives and the Senate. Another leg is the Supreme Court, which is supposed to settle all things. But it's, of course, no longer nonpartisan. It's partisan as fuck. And the other leg's supposed to be the executive department. President, vice president, cabinet, and posts that are set up through the executive department. That's how the government is meant to run. That's where the idea originally was. And that's where we get the idea of checks and balances. One leg has the ability to countermand the other leg, while the other leg has the ability to countermand a different leg, and while that leg has a different ability to countermand a different leg. And so it's supposed to be an equal balance. But of course, Trump and his clowns have already announced the ideas of unitary executive theory. And that's just not what it was ever meant to be. We're never supposed to be under a king, under an emperor. No. You're supposed to be part of a balanced form of government. So no department, no branch gets more powerful than the other. But the rich and powerful have never given a fuck. And they're like, no, fuck that. We want them to do what we want to fucking do. Fuck Americans who believe in the idea of fairness, of equality. No, fuck them. We're richer than they are. And that's pretty much what you have with a Trump. I don't understand why people think he represents your everyday people. He don't. He's nowhere near that representation. And yet people suck his balls like he is. Anyway. Yeah. Veterans, workers, it should never be about the departments or the companies or the industries. It should be about the people. Now, let's get into another section here. And what I want to get into is there it is. I want to talk about human decency and respect. The Trump presidency has some horrible, hardline cocksuckers on it. They are against people who are different, whether they are LGBTQ or different races, different political leanings and ideologies. And have already suggested some gross, dire things they're going to do. Like, they really want to pack up immigrants, whether legal or not, and kick them out. They've said they will denaturalize citizens who are here legally, who have been asked to come here, who have been invited. They will denaturalize them and send them back. Simply out of racist dickery. I mean, when one of the people in one of the higher positions is fucking Stephen Miller, you need to reconsider who the fuck you're backing. Because Stephen Miller, not a good dude. He's just not. He is an evil, evil gremlin. And we've already seen the hate groups crawl out of the woodwork now that they know Trump's going to be in power again. I mean, that alone should fucking tell you that he's not a good person. If they feel strong enough to come out of the woodwork and be the racist ass selves. I don't give a shit about your goddamn eggs if it brings out hate groups. Fuck you. You know, there's other ways to bring presses down other than introducing fucktards that would allow hate groups to come back out into the fucking open. And besides that, if he puts an across-the-board fucking tariff like he plans to on all foreign goods, he's gonna fuck over a lot of Americans financially. Fuck that cocksucker. Anyway. Chewing on this peppermint candy. I've got lemon drops and peppermint candies. Anyway, this is a map from the Williams Institute, which is part of the UCLA School of Law. And it is how many adults and youth identify as transgender in the United States. A group that we have seen attacked over and over by hate mongers. You know, fucking dumb fuck. What's his name? The Speaker of the House. I can't remember his name. It's so fucking generic. Mike something. He and Nancy Mace have made it their fucking mission to attack the one transgender person who was just voted into Congress. And so they immediately pushed the fucking fearmonger button. Fuck you, you cocksuckers. You assume that because they were born another gender and they wish to change their gender, just because that's not who they felt like they were, not who they saw themselves as. But you assume, oh, it's to get into other bathrooms and rape those people. You're a fucking idiot. You are a fucking moron of the highest fucking caliber. God damn. Yeah. But here we have a chart. Let's go over to this one first. It reads it as approximately 1.14% of the nation's adult population, or 3 million Americans, identifies transgender. And that was from June 3rd of this year. This one, like I said, is from an actual university, so I trust it a little bit more. But it shows U.S. adults, which is 1.3 million, or 0.5% of U.S. adult population. So yeah, those are 18 and older. And then it even helps us out by showing us youth 13 to 17. 300,000. 1.4% of that group in the U.S. So here we have a tiny population. Usually 1.5 or less. And as far as percentage, 1.5 or less. But you hear the fucking right wing, the fucking hate mongers, and they want to treat it as, oh, it's everywhere. It's a fucking 89% of the population. Really? Really? This is the kind of fear and hate you're trying to spread. And you just don't give a fuck, do you? Just don't give a fuck about the truth. About being honest. God damn. And then, in a wider range, LGBTQ as a part of a bigger portion, their demographics in the United States. We show a map here, adult percentage by state in 2015 to 16. Yeah, you don't have anything bigger than 4% because they're such a small percentage. But fuck if it ain't treated as if it's this fucking 85 fucking percent. A 2022 Gallup poll concluded 7.1% of adult Americans identified as LGBT, lesbian, gay, bi, trans. Sometimes there's a Q on there, just queer. Different survey from 2016 from the Williams Institute estimated that 0.6% of U.S. adults identify as transgender. That one's 2022, one's 2016. As of 2022, estimates for the total percentage of U.S. adults that are transgender or non-binary range from 0.5 to 1.6. So again, it's a tiny percent of the population, but goddamn, if the fucking hate groups and the fucking Republicans don't act like they're fucking 55% of the population, they're coming for your kids, they're coming for your dogs. No, motherfucker, they just want to live their goddamn life in respect, but you don't give a goddamn, do you? No, you're hate mongers. You do whatever you can to make their lives unfucking bearable. Fuck you. Additionally, a Pew Research survey from 2022 found that approximately 5% of young adults in the U.S. say their gender is different from their sex assigned at birth. So yeah, even those who are transgender, you're not even necessarily talking about all those who go through the surgery. They just see themselves feel different. They see themselves as a different gender, different sex. Because what they are doesn't feel like who they should be. God damn if the fucking hate groups and hate mongers and Republicans go after them like they're a fucking giant ass group coming for you and everybody else. Hide your kids, hide your dogs. LGBTQ plus identification in the U.S. is at 7.6%. So again, small percentage. This article, 2024. So again, it's a tiny percentage. They just want some respect and fair treatment. But god damn if the fucking cocksuckers don't come after them like a lunatic. They're just people trying to live their lives. And they just should be treated with kindness, respect, like anybody fucking else. But fucking hell if the lunatics don't come out of the fucking warboard. They're coming after your hamsters! Seriously? Seriously? God damn it. Yeah, it's just people finding out or trying to find out who they actually are. They're not looking to gayify your kids. It's not a magic rainbow blast they hit your kids with. You are now LGBTQ. What the fuck is wrong with some people? Yeah. Even with the percentage growing, it's still not growing at this gigantic rate. In 11 years, it's went up 4%. I've seen people's minds and the economy change by bigger percentages. I mean, god damn. Again, this is one of these things. Treat people with kindness, respect. U.S. population 2023 Williams Institute. This is in PDF form. Estimated number of LGBT adults in the U.S. and by state. D.C., pretty big population. Elsewise, you got Delaware at 7.5%, and then next is maybe Colorado, 6.8%. You got a lot of them that's right around 5, give or take, percent. Again, this is not a giant ass fucking invasion. The cocksuckers on the right wing and the hate groups, they'll fucking sit there and cry and bitch and whine and growl, "Oh, they're coming after you!" And then on the same level, race, ethnicities. shouldn't be a matter of attacking others for a race or ethnicity. You would think a nation that's almost 300 years old, we're hitting our, what, 250th anniversary 2026. So almost 2 years now. Well, we're so close to 2025. So a little over a year now. This country will be 250 years of age. And it's like, we still have issues with how we do race. Hey, guess what? We're all fucking human. We're all fucking human. And again, it's not like they're a huge fucking percentage. Racial categories. According to the 2006, in the 2000 census and subsequent Census Bureau surveys, Americans self-describe as belonging to these three racial groups: white American, which includes European American and Middle Eastern American or North African American. Those having origins in any of these original peoples of Europe or the Middle East or North Africa. Black or African American, those having origins in any of the native peoples of sub-Saharan Africa. African Indian or Alaska Native, those having origins in any of the original peoples of North, Central, and South America. Asian American, East Asian American, South Asian American, and Southeast Asian American, those having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, those having origins in any of the original peoples of Polynesia, Melanesia, or Micronesia. Other respondents wrote how they identified themselves if different from the preceding categories. Two or more races, widely known as multiracial, those who check off and or write in more than one race. Census designated ethnicities. According, 2021 estimates including separate category of Latino Hispanic. The biggest still by far is white. It's not like it's a disappearing fucking race. We still have a big majority. 59.3%. It's fuck. Hispanic Latino is next at 18.9, Black 12.6, Asian 5.9, two or more races, multiracial 2.3, and then you get down to much smaller groups: American, Native American, American Indian or Alaska Native 0.7, some other race 0.5, and Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander 0.2. Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. This was 2021. Year before White was 61.6 compared to the 59 point, what, 3? Latino black 18.9, stayed the same. Black 12.6. The year before it was 12.4. 2 or more races. 2.3 the year before, 10.2. Some other race, 0.5 year before, 8.4. Asian, 5.9 the year before, 6%. American Indian, Native American, or Alaskan Native, 2.7%, year before 2.9%. And then Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, 0.2. So yeah, your whole bullshit of, oh, the white race is disappearing. Oh God. How about some other race? 8.4 down to fucking 0.5. Quit being a whiny cuck-ass bitch. 2 or more races, 2.3, when it was all the way up at 10.2. Social definitions of a race. They get into some of that and stuff. Historical trends and influences. Yeah. All the different things. Racial makeup of the U.S. populations. 70, 80, 90. (2010, 2020, 1960). By pure numbers, yeah, white race has been growing every decade. People act like, oh, it's disappearing. (2010 to 2020). But then we only had, what, 1 million people die that year? People have moved. Yeah. Yeah, it's just population. guess they're saying Hispanics of the different ones be. Because you get into um, Mexico and further south, a lot of them they are calling Hispanics were native peoples, and they were forced to blend with European and African. And so it's like, yeah. Now there are going to be some Hispanics that are more white than others because there's a lot of European descendancy. There's going to be some that are much darker, whether they're of more native descendancy or even black hair. Part of the African slaves was part of their heritage. But yeah. So they've got another chart crossover 2020. Hispanic Americans. So this is how the Hispanics saw themselves, and then of the total population, yeah, there's so much that could be gained by just treating people with kindness, with human decency. But these racist fucks and Republican fucks don't understand that shit. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Information here's from the census that you can pull up and different things. Population, age and sex, race and Hispanic origins, population characteristics, housing, families and living arrangements, computer and internet life, education, health, economy, transportation, income, and poverty. Yeah. And then you can go by different lists. They've got populations back to census on April 1st, 2020 or 2010. There's 2020. The percentage change from the 2020 to the current estimate of 2023, because of course the US Census only happens every 10 years. That's why you have 2010, 2020, and 2023 has to be an estimate. You have the different age groups, races. So yeah, if you ever want to look at that, that's got a bunch of different information you can look at. But my point as scattered as it may seem, you should treat all of them as people respectfully, because they're all individually deserve respect as a person. It's something we need more of in this country, instead of the hate groups and the demonizing that goes on in modern America. Kindness, proper treatment, boom, perfect. Yeah. But just wanted to talk to y'all about that. This will be part 3. I need to go ahead and make a playlist for this, I guess, because it is something like I said, I'm just dumping my ideas out there so we see what we need to do. But that'll be it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting these links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.